Welcome back to ADHD Skills with Jess and Alex. She's Jess, I'm Alex. Today we're going to be talking about how to get started on a new task. Now, here's a philosophical question to start us off, Jess.
Okay, what is it?
When does a task begin?
I want to say for me personally, a task begins when you are given it.
Say more.
So, a task really begins when you are given the task. So, for example, my task could be that I need to call my doctor to make a doctor's appointment. And I was told, call your doctor. So, it immediately began then because I was given the knowledge to know I need to call my doctor. Now, the next thing are the steps to take to actually get that task done. So, my next part would be to plan out what day I'm going to do it, what time I'm going to do it, when in my schedule I do have time to do it. But for me, it's when I actually get given the task is when it actually begins. The next part of it is planning out or scheduling when you're going to do it. What about you?
Yeah, I guess, one of the reasons I brought it up is I've been thinking about this and there's no clear answer to when a task starts. A lot of people think it's just when you actually start doing the task, but as you mentioned, there's stuff you have to do before that. Every task has three parts: setting it up, doing it, and then cleaning up afterwards. So the setting up part is something out there. It's different.
Yeah.
And it's part of the task. So I would say that you're onto something there with it starts when you're given the task. One of the interesting things you said was I have to start planning out when am I going to do it, when do I have time? What you're doing there is you're sort of chunking it out. And I think that's something that really helps you get started, is breaking it down into small little chunks. Sometimes you break it down into little chunks and it's not quite doing it for you. You still can't get started. That's when you need to chunk it down even further. I
What is
call it
that called?
slivering.
What is it called?
Slivering. It's like a little
Uh,
sliver cut
okay.
into little slivers. And okay, maybe that's not my phrase. I stole it from my coach. But slivering is a good way to break it down even further. So you're just sort of using a little brain trickery to get you going. When you're looking at the tiny slivers, your brain is more likely to actually get going with it. One of the things that I do to trick my brain is to tell myself, I'm just going to set up the task and
Mhm.
not even worry about doing it. But when I get it all set up, it's like, oh, yeah, I can do it. And I start.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. Once that I would definitely agree, and I definitely like the word the slithering, like slicing things down and dicing it because I kind of just picture like a chef like slicing really fast, and that's kind of what it is your brain's kind of doing that, or you have to kind of be the chef of it and be like the masterpiece. So I definitely would resonate with that. Is when I get a task, oftentimes the hardest part is for me the planning of when I'm going to do it and actually putting it in my calendar and then breaking it down into smaller pieces, knowing that because sometimes I overdo it in a sense where I say, oh, I can get this much done in this much time, and where realistically I can only get like half that done. And my brain is going to shut down because I had a long work day, and there's no way I'm going to get calling, make an appointment, or do it online because my brain's just going to be tired from looking at a screen or talking on the phone. So really, it's like realistically also thinking, okay, how do I sliver that down and become that chef? So, but also what's interesting is what helps me sometimes too to get started, especially in the morning with a morning task, because mornings for me are harder a little bit, or later at night, is getting my energy going. So I don't know if you do anything to help get your energy going, but sometimes I put on music, or sometimes literally I'll do like jumping jacks in my living room, or I'll just do some self talk. She's like, you can do this. Come on, Jess. Like, we got this task. We got to do it. You just got to sit down, put your phone away, like, hide your phone. You'll get it when you're done. I don't know, have you ever done anything like that?
Oh yeah. Um, Side note, I used to work as a mascot for a
What?
hockey team. Yeah. And before the game, we would skate out through the tunnel and go onto the ice, and it was really awesome. And they'd play Thunderstruck by AC/DC. And I love that song. It gets me hyped up. So when you were talking about playing a little music, that's my go-to song to hype me up. Also, I'm a little high energy this morning. I've been listening to Panic at the Disco. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but music has a very strong influence on us. It can get us going. And I also like what you said about self-talk, like giving yourself a little pep talk to get going. You kind of have to be your own coach at times, you know?
And sometimes you figure out what works for you, but like talking to myself in the mirror and being like, okay, you can do this long day, but you're gonna go set your computer, go look at your screen again, and set up that doctor's appointment. And it's like, okay, then go. That I just like that it's so much easier for me to go do it because I talked out, I sliced out, slivered what everything I'm gonna do. And then I went, sat down, did it, and I just kind of put away distractions too. That's a big thing. Put away distractions. And then it went so much faster. So also you don't realize how fast the task actually goes once you start doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you get into it, it's a little easier. So you just kind of have to get yourself over that hurdle, over that hill, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it takes just like exaggeration to get it over the top. Being a little over the top and giving yourself a burst of energy will get you over that hill.
Oh, it's crazy. It's amazing. So interesting what like just different things work and how different things work for different people too, as well. So
Absolutely.
I really challenge our listeners to try something new. If there's something in here that you've heard that you have never tried, try it and let us know what you think. If it worked, if it didn't work, then that's fine. Stick with stuff that does work. But I would definitely say try something new because what some of the stuff you said with the music and everything really gets you going and stuff. I never thought maybe in the mornings to really help wake me up and get me ready to be on task. The next task is to start playing more energized, I call it more energized music, but more music like that and maybe make myself a playlist. So I really challenge our listeners to, and please feel free to comment below on what you've tried, what works, what doesn't work for you, because we would be very interested to know.
Yeah, and you raise an interesting point there. Not to like derail the wrapping up of the video, but you made an interesting point that I want to highlight. Like, what's going to work for you? We talked about what worked for us, but it's about what works for you. So when you're trying to get started on something, try something new, try something interesting, try a little brain trickery to get yourself going and get in there.
Yeah, go for it. So feel free to comment below. Stay tuned for next month's video. And also don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a nice day.